parents, Gyðja Sheila McNallen here, giving a little mini lesson in what I call fundamentals of handwriting. The handwriting we're going to do today is not letter writing, but number writing. And though children start, when you say, "Can you count for me?" they'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. We're actually starting with 0 because it is a fundamental number that is used, obviously, past 10 and after. So we need that number. We need to be able to write the number 0. So this is my whiteboard. I'm going to show you something about holding a letter, holding a writing utensil. Remember, this is going to be mostly first and second grade skill. Kindergartners are not doing very much writing. It's okay for you to write. They can also trace over your letters and numbers, however you want. If you have a child who's really wanting to write numbers, then let's teach them the right way from the get-go, so it doesn't have to be corrected later on. One thing about holding a pencil, holding a pen, is I always say with a pencil, for instance, here we go, it even has an eraser on the back. So if you can see that, it's pointing towards me. And I would tell a child, pick it up, pinch it here, like this, and then roll it back into what's called the cradle, right here. Just set it in there. See, I'm still pinching it. And then the middle finger comes underneath and supports it. And that's how we get all that fine motor ability that they need once they start doing cursive, for instance, or do any kind of drawing, and gives them that skill right from the beginning rather than clutching it in some weird way with a fist. We don't want that. We don't want weird, funny grips. So do with the pinch, the middle finger underneath, right here, supporting it, and sitting in the cradle. And so we do that with all of our letters, with our numbers, whether we're using markers, pens, crayons, pencils, doesn't matter, same thing. So we're going to start with 0 today. Obviously, I'm going to make a dotted 0. It's a good way to start. You can actually find programs that will make dotted numbers and letters that have fonts that are dotted, and that will help you. But the other thing I'm doing today is using 2 colors. I'm using green for go and red for stop. This reminds me where I start my number, where I end my number. With that, I start here on the green and I go around in one clear sweep and come back. Start at the top, always start at the top and go down. Start at the top and go down. And that is how we make, that's pretty bad, but anyway, that's how we do our ovals. Our ovals and our number 0 is starting at the top and going down and around. And again, it's always good if you want to put the dots for your child to try to trace it. Tracing is a good way of learning. Okay, 0. You could show an empty box. There's nothing in it. That is 0. Number 1, obviously, they can do it. It's a straight line down. Of course, their line might be wiggly, but it goes from the green straight down to the red. Green to the red. Green to the red. If it wiggles, that's fine. They're just starting out. We encourage them to keep on trying. And we're not going to be overly critical. We're just happy that they want to try this. And don't push it on them, and don't do too many numbers at once. I'm doing the whole 0 to 9 today. Don't do that with your child in one sitting. Okay, so we did our 0. And we did a 1. Now we're up to 2. And I think of 2 as this shape. And you may say, whoa, what's that about? It's a heart. It is a heart. But if you look at this side of the heart, it is how we begin doing our number 2. Right there. Green is where we begin. Red is where we stop. So we actually go, this time we're going to our right, this way, and we're going up slightly, but then we're dropping down and going across. It's kind of tossing a ball up and letting gravity pull it down. So it goes up and across, up and down and across. And there is that heart. You see it, it's actually in there, the heart shape. So that is how I teach number 2. So we have our heart that makes the first part of 2 and a cross. Number 3. I know that we don't like using lots of lines when kids start writing, but it helps just having a midpoint, right? Because we know that we're going to have 2 curves, and one is going to start here, and one is going to end here. And this is where I go up and come down and go and like that, right? So we go up and around the midpoint and around again and end there. We go up and around and around. We never lift the pen or the pencil or the marker off the paper. We keep it continuing flow all the way around. So that was number 3. Number 4. It's 2 distinct strokes. One starts up here and ends here. Another one starts here, not clear over here, but on the same line here, and it's going to cross through that line on number 4. So it goes like this. Okay, my dotted lines, it goes down and across and down, down and across, come back up here and go down. Obviously, if they go this, that's not the best 4. We want them to try to find it there. If they're doing a 4 like this as a first grader, is that okay? Of course it is. We're not going to be highly critical. They'll get it eventually as they get more that fine motor control and perceive what we're after. So there's my number 4. There are a couple ways of doing 5. When I was a child, I learned like this. So a stroke down, around, and across. I really prefer this. Start green here, and we're going to go across, down, and around. And this is tricky because sometimes we go left, sometimes we go right. And this time we are going to the left first, and we go across, down, around, and that is where we finish, right down there. So across, down, and around. And that's how we do number 5. Number 6. I think of it like a marble. Starts up at the top. And it's going to end down here. And this is where it goes. Whoops. Not quite. It's going to end over here, right? So think of it as rolling a marble down, around, until it comes back like that. Rolling it down and around. Just dropping it. It rolls. It has the momentum to keep going, and that's how it ends up. 6s are a little bit difficult, and that's okay. If your child needs more practice, doesn't quite get it, that's okay. Eventually your child will have beautiful handwriting. And here we go with number 6. Number 7 goes across, but then it goes down at a slight angle. So here's my green, here's my red. It goes across and down, across and down at an angle, not a right angle. It doesn't look like this, right? And that would be a right angle. So that's where you want to do a dotted line or show them it's going to end up here, not there. And that is number 7. Number 8, that can be kind of tricky. It can be sometimes too large, too small. You may be a person who likes to do an 8 like a snowman, right? That's one way of doing it. A lot of adults do it that way. I always think of letter S. And so when I do an 8, I go like that, and then I close it. So it looks like this, starting here, ending here. It goes around like that and back. It goes around like that, like an S, and then back. Around like an S and back. And that is 8. The last one we're doing today is number 9. When I was a little girl, we didn't have helium balloons. We did have balloons, and we would put them on something like a stick. So I call this one a balloon on a stick. So I think about a balloon shape, because this is where I would blow it up right there. And that is where I start. So that is my first one. I go around like this. And without picking up my pencil, I come up here and I go a straight line down. So I go down here and I end here. What does it look like when I write? I start here, I go around like a letter A once we get to writing letters, and it looks like that. Start up here, go up and down. If your child is doing this and then trying to add a stick, that's really, really common, but it's easier just to learn to do it without ever picking up the pencil and doing it all in one big stroke. And so, my friends, that is how we learn to write numbers. You may have some different ideas. Other people may have different ways to show your child, and that's fine. I just wanted to give you the techniques I used when I was teaching kindergarten and first grade, and they work pretty well. So I hope you've enjoyed this. There will be other fundamentals of handwriting working with lowercase and uppercase letters. And we'll talk even about regular printing compared to Danelian handwriting if some of you want that. But for now, this was our numbers. And think of all the numbers that can be written with this. You can write phone numbers. Once your child does this, say, write down our phone number. Write down Grandma's phone number. Write down the number of presents under the Yule tree. Write down how many pets we have in the family. How many cookies are in the bag? How many forks are in the drawer? And so they can be counting and actually writing their own numbers. It's going to become really handy too when they need to identify a number like, where do you live, little child? And they can say, yeah, I live at 8408 LaPorte Road, which is where the Hoff is. But I'm thinking just familiarity with numbers is really also a safety measure once they understand that they are associated with certain numbers like phone numbers and addresses. So there we go. Hope to see you soon. Hope you enjoyed this, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you. Bye-bye.